Hey, I'm Cal. Welcome to your 4-minute lesson. Today we're going to have a look at the guitar toolbox. This is actually the first guitar book I wrote, and this one actually you can actually really survive on. There's scales and chords in here to actually get you playing, and really helps you get started. So we're going to look at today is a thing called a chord family. So what a chord family is in that book, it shows you on page 25. It basically shows you through how chords relate together. So chords aren't random, they do have little families, and so this lesson I'm going to show you the chord family of G. So obviously you can see there's chord families of C, there's D, there's E, there's F. So every chord you play belongs within a family. And why this is so important is because when you look at songs and how songs are made, they're based in chord families. So it's great for songwriters and things like that. So the G chord in the G chord family is basically the first chord is G. Second chord of the scale is A minor. The third is B minor. So B minor is always a tricky one. You can kind of play it like a half bar chord like that, rather than a full bar chord. You can do it like that. C chord, D chord, E minor, and then F sharp minor. So F sharp minor is another tricky one. It's a bar chord. So F sharp minor is not used as often as the other chords. It's the 7th chord of the scale. You can also play it in a modified version like that. So there's always ways around with the guitar. It never stops you, when you play chords like F and things like that. You can always find ways around these bar chords. But for now though, these are the chords that belong in the key of G. And the whole idea basically is when I teach these chord families, I do a songwriting exercise. And you can actually just put these chords in any order, and they're going to sound great. There's no chance of it sounding like a bad chord. So there's no chance of doing this, like that. So that chord's not a bad chord, so G sharp minor 7, but it just doesn't belong in the key of G, so it will always sound a little bit discordant. So when I first started writing songs, I did what every singer-songwriter does and played G, E minor, C, and D. And then I just did variations of those chords, E minor, C, D, G, or C, D, G, E minor, etc., etc. It wasn't until a bass player told me that he said the last 10 songs he'd written are all the same song. So after I fired him, I thought no, I didn't really. He was nice, he was lovely. But he was right, and the bass I was playing the same 4 chords. And so I didn't really know that there were other chords within the family that I could have used. So this knowledge is very valuable for all songwriters wanting to get out of that same loop of those same 4 chords. You can also, when you put a capo on as well, capo is the greatest invention since Thomas. You can basically put a capo down on the 4th fret and play exactly the same chord family chords, but obviously you're out in a different key. And how you work out what key that is by that note there on your guitar, which happens to be B. So then you would say this is the B major chord family. If I moved it down to the 2nd fret capo, second finger I was on the 5th fret, which is the A note. This would then be the A major chord family. So all those chords can now be moved up, which is why I often say the guitar is the greatest instrument in the world, because that movable nature of chords is amazing for us, because we can just write songs in the same key but make it sound totally different. Later on you can do modulation chords, which means you bring in chords from other keys, like F major and D minor, but we can talk about that later. But for now though, just carrying with the G major chord family, and that'll get you really happy with songwriting. So that's my 4-minute lesson. See you later.